guys, it's Tina Peterson with Remax One. I'm sitting here with Tom Horn Jr. with Mid-America Mortgage. Today we were going to talk about appraisals. Appraisals are very important when buying a house. Sometimes they can make or break a deal. So the first question is, why does somebody need an appraisal?
Well, it's required. The lender needs it to make sure that the value of the house is there for loaning money for the home, and it also lets the buyer know that you're actually getting what the house is worth.
Okay. When do you order an appraisal?
As soon as possible.
Why?
We'd like to order it as soon as your option's up on your inspection. Well, after you do your inspection, your option, once you go under contract, you have an option. You do your inspection. As soon as your inspection's done, we want to try to get the appraisal done as soon as possible, because it's one of the things that takes the longest to come in, depending on the appraiser, the area that the house is in.
So when you order, because the lender orders the appraisal,
Correct.
who pays for it and when does it get paid?
Majority of the time we collect for that up front. So as soon as the option's up, we ask for you guys to fill out a nice little form with your credit card information. We submit that through the company. They assign it to an appraiser. The appraiser accepts it, and then we move forward from there.
So, just curiosity now. So does each lender have like their own company they like to use, like certain appraisers they like to use, or is it just?
Well, we have, it's kind of like a round robin, but we have a panel of appraisers, so we don't even know exactly which appraiser is going to get assigned to it, and it's a layer of protection. It's part of the regulations that changed over the last few years. So, an appraiser will get assigned to your contract.
And did you already say who pays for the appraisal?
The buyer pays for the appraisal. If for some reason you're unable to, we can roll it into the closing costs and we pay for it at the end. Majority of the time we pay for it up front. It's called paid outside of closing.
Okay. What happens if the appraisal comes in over the list price or the contract price?
Well, that's a good thing. If it comes in over, you're buying into instant equity, right? And so you put down however much you put down for the program, so you have a little bit of equity immediately upon purchasing. But if the appraisal comes in $2,000 higher, $5,000 higher or more, then you have instant equity. So that's a good thing.
So what happens if it comes in under?
If the appraisal value comes in under, that creates your next negotiation stage in the contracts, right? So you negotiate on the sales price, you negotiate during your option, inspection, repairs, this or that. And then if the appraisal comes in below asking price, then there's a few things that could happen. You go to the seller and tell them, look, I'm only paying this much for the property. You can negotiate with the seller and you can pay the difference in cash, or you guys could split the difference. Or, you know, and it could be a good thing, the value comes in too low, you're expecting the value of the house to be high, you can walk away from the property and go find another property.
So, okay, so if I have the appraisal done,
Mm-hmm.
right, and my appraisal comes in at $250,
Mm-hmm.
and then my taxes come in
Mm-hmm.
the next year, and they come in at $300, can I use that appraisal?
Absolutely,
To dispute my taxes?
yeah. Disputing property taxes sometimes can be difficult, but the certain things that you have to have is evidence, right? And so you go protest your taxes, you have to have something to protest them with. So you would take your appraisal, your contract, and you let them know what you paid for it, and that's your evidence. So you have enough evidence there for them to reevaluate, and then hopefully they'll lower your property taxes.
But if it comes in higher, you don't want to use that, right?
Well, Texas is a non-disclosure state, right? And so you don't want to tell them, hey, you paid more for the property.
Does the person on the other side of the transaction, does the seller, do they know what the appraisal comes in at?
So if we get permission from a borrower to, if we're in a situation where the appraisal came in too low and the seller wants to know why and what they can do to help, we can do what they call a reconsideration of value. And it's a form that we fill out, and we have to get information from the listing agent, the buyer's agent. Maybe the appraiser didn't use the right comps in the neighborhood, or you, listing agent or the buyer's agent, wants to supply new comps. And sometimes we ask the borrower if we can turn over the appraisal to the listing agent so that the listing agent can see which comps we're using so that they can go try to track down some other comps to get that reconsideration processed.
Okay.
And sometimes it goes up with the reconsideration, but it's not always easy.
And that's all of our questions.
That's all of our questions.
Yes. Do you have anything else about appraisals that sound important?
Well, that's just it. I think the biggest thing is order it as soon as possible so that the big thing in our business is deadlines. We want to make sure we meet deadlines. You got your option deadline, you want to get the inspection done. Then there's a financing deadline. We have to have a full approval within a certain amount of time, usually about a week before closing. We have to have our final approval. And if we're not ordering that appraisal until close to the end of our financing date, then we may need to extend the contract, and we don't like doing that.
Right.
That's not part of our process. We want to get it done as soon as possible.
Which is why we try to get inspections done within the first 10 days.
Try to get them done within the first couple of days.
Okay. Well, that's all we have on appraisals. If you guys have any questions about appraisals or mortgage or real estate or title, whatever it might be, please feel free to reach out to any of us. And I guess everybody have a great rest of the week, and we will see y'all maybe next week.
Bye, guys.